coronavirus. Is India the next global hotspot? The coronavirus took hold slowly in India, but 6 months after its first confirmed infection, it has overtaken Russia to record the world's third largest caseload. With the world's second largest population, much of which lives packed into cities, the country was perhaps always destined to become a global hotspot. But the data behind its case number is questionable because India is not testing enough and an unusually low death rate has baffled scientists. Here's 5 things we know about the spread of coronavirus in India. India's cases are rising fast. India has seen a series of record spikes recently, adding tens of thousands of cases daily. It recorded most of its confirmed cases in June within weeks of reopening after a rigid lockdown. As of 8 July, India had 742 417 confirmed cases, but the true scale of infectious rates in the population is unclear. According to virologist Shahid Jamil, the government conducted a random sample of 26 lakhs Indians in May, which showed that 0.73 had the virus. Some experts have reservations about the sample size, but others, such as Dr. Jamil, say it's the only one countrywide indicator they have to work with. If we extrapolate that to the whole population, we would have had 10 million infections in mid-May, Dr. Jamil said. Given that confirmed cases in India have been doubling every 20 days, that would put the current total between 30 and 40 million. The gap between confirmed cases and actual infections exists in every country, but to different degrees. Testing is only way to bridge it. If you test more, you will find more, Dr. Jamil said. That's what has happened in India recent weeks. As the government ramped up testing, case numbers suddenly increased. India has done more than 10 million tests since 13 March, but more than half of those happened after 1 June. India is just not testing enough. India's official caseload is high in absolute numbers, but it's relatively low in per capita terms. The world on average has 3 times as many cases as India per capita, a fact pointed out by the government recently, but according to Dr. Jamil, India's per capita caseload is low simply because it tests so little. Compare India to countries that have a high per capita caseload that you will find those countries are testing far more. India's caseload is nearly invisible on this scale because its testing rate is so low. But it's not just about how much you test, it's also about who you test. India's emphasis on test and trace yearly on limited the pool of people it was testing to high-risk cases and their contacts and kept it from expanding to the wider population. Test and trace is insufficient once an infection starts to spread rapidly, said Himanshu Tyagi and Aditya Gopalan, mathematicians who have studied COVID-19 testing strategies. It helps with containment, but it does not discover new cases that have emerged undetected in the community. Mr. Tyagi and Mr. Gopalan said India has to test a broad swath of people for that to happen. But how do we know Testing. Comparing testing numbers across countries is tricky because some count how many people they test, while others count how many tests they do. India does the latter, and this number is slightly exaggerated because most people get tested more than once. So instead, scientists prefer to calculate how many tests it takes to find a single confirmed case. The more tests it takes, the wider your casting you'll need. Here, India fares poorly compared to countries that have managed to control the spread of the virus. And the more widely you test, the lower your positive rate. That's why New Zealand and Taiwan had rates will below 1%. India positive rate is now up from 3.8% in April to 6.4% in July. If it keeps rising, it's because testing is still limited to a narrow pool of high-risk people and their contacts. India's recovery numbers are promising. The data suggests that those in India who have been diagnosed with the virus are recovering from it faster than they are dying from it. This is crucial, Dr. Janu said, because it determines the strength of the health system. Currently, deaths are rising more slowly than confirmed cases or recoveries. But if that rate quickens, it would increase the pressure on hospitals, possibly driving up deaths. He caveat is that low testing rates means fewer new cases are recorded and a slower pace that will quicken the recovery rate in comparison to that of confirmed cases. Globally, India's recovery curve appears steeper than other badly hit countries. In this instance, a steeper curve is a good thing. It means COVID-19 patients in India are recovering faster than those in the US or Brazil. India's share of recoveries, that is the 0% of total confirmed cases in a given country that have made a full recovery, is also higher. At nearly 60%, it's far ahead of the US, where it is 27%. When it comes to recovery, though, data is patchy and the definition varies. India defines as recovered anyone who tests positive for the virus and then weeks later tests negative. Some countries only count hospitalized cases that make a full recovery. What's important is that, irrespective of how many people are recovering with each of these countries, India's share of recoveries is higher, and that's because India's reported deaths are lower.